You want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
And yes, it is. It is showtime. Once again, it's already Saturday, and it is time for us to do another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I am your host, Joe D. McPhee here, and something seems a little bit off, so let me figure out what's going on here. But outside of that, it seems like everything else is above. Okay, there we go. That was turned off. Okay. Everything seems kind of like above and beyond the norm for this weekend here. A little bit, I do have a little bit of allergies and sinuses happening here, but outside of that, it's been a pretty good day, at least for today. I think I won't say that it's a splendid day, but it's been all right. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day out there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the business ends of things, making mention that Stupid O'Clock still happens 1 hour into the show if we go to a second hour. That is followed up by Last Man Standing. Then you got a little bit of a respite until Monday, until you have Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget about the next upcoming Comic Book Spectrum, which happens Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today is going to be a rare delight day. Why? Because, yes, there is new comic book pickups for the week. Unfortunately, the new comic book pickups for the week is only down to 3 books. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's only 3 books today for new comic book pickups of the week. So we got the actual Batgirl Birds of Prey issue number 1, the one shot version of that, and book 2 of Birds of Prey Catwoman Oracle. That is pretty much what is new comic book pickups for the week. Rather light week here, even though there was other things that I've been waiting to get to arrive in the mail here. So it is what it is here. Outside of that, that would be new comic book pickups for the week here. And it seems like we got nobody in the chat here. So I'm trying to hold off on the topic for today, which is conversations, wisdom, and the comic book industry, because I was able to have some decent conversation with John Celestri here. And it was a very good conversation. And, it's a lot of wisdom that's there that I believe that us as comic creators are just not following here. But nevertheless, I see that we got 1 viewer now, so I guess people are going to slowly come in, but we're not going to talk too much here. Oh, for those who may not know, let me go ahead and throw out this quick little advertisement here. I have this in my library here. It's called The Mad Gasser Cheerleader of Calhoun County. This is by Carl Witzman here. And I know we talked about this book before. I just revisited not too long ago, just started rereading it. It is a good little novel here. So you could go out there to lulu.com and get your copy of The Mad Gasser Cheerleader of Calhoun County here. If I could say horror / thrillers type deal. But it looks like not too many people are here as of right now. And I'm trying to gather my thoughts while trying to fight off a allergy attack here with one reason why I'm rubbing my eyes here. Came across something, but I'm going to be all right nonetheless here. So, getting back to the topic at hand, it's like one of the things that was talked about here was dealing with kind of like the fear aspect. Like in my situation, dealing with how with having Amazonia and primetime Saturday night, and I was telling John that it felt like I kept caught lightning in a bottle twice, meaning that it takes years to develop books, and especially comic books and everything, develop a comic book universe. And it's not just coming out with the one issue and hope that it sticks. When you get to like your third, your fifth, in my case it's going to be like the 8th issue of Amazonia and the 7th, the 7th issue primetime Saturday night. Now you got to really think about the long haul. You get to the point where you're thinking, can I maintain the flow of everything as of right now? Thinking about what is next to come. How do I keep my audience? How do I keep the audience that I have and stuff to that magnitude? And the wisdom that came out of that conversation is like, stop worrying about that stuff. Just keep producing books. Just keep producing good story. You can't sit back and worry about what other people think. You just have to do what is right for your stories and everything, and keep moving and keep pressing on beyond that. And he gave me the encouragement, because like I was trying to tell him before, it was like there's just certain books that I work on, I started to really start having fun with, like the adult anthology book. I've started to really have fun doing that. And to be quietly as it kept, I'm working on issue number 3. Yes, I already got 2 issues of it done. I just haven't published it yet. I just haven't published those issues yet, but I've been working behind the scenes to get multiple issues done. That way, if when I publish issue 1 and people like it, I don't have to wait a long time to release issue 2 and issue 3 and issue 4 and everything to that magnitude. And because all the anthology stories that I'm putting together are told in small chapters. And when I say in small chapters, I'm talking about between 6 to 8 pages. So you're getting anywhere between 3 to 4 different stories in each. Well, I should say it this way. It's a small little 8-page kind of like a introduction to some of the topics and themes that's in the anthology book, and then there's like 3 extra stories that goes along with it. But the stories that are in there are told out in chapters. So it's really going to be one of those things that is just really, really interesting. And eventually, the lecture part is probably going to end up going away, because there's only so much you can talk about as far as the history of certain things and everything to that magnitude, and ways certain things come about, and certain ways to think about different things here. And the first story is kind of like my, if I could say, homage to one of the adult books that I enjoy here, which is Ogenki Clinic. No, it's not about a sex clinic or anything like that, but the homage is more or less of a college campus study, or I should say more of like a college campus course. And the 2 professors pretty much explain some of the things that happens in the actual title itself here. So it is worthwhile in that aspect here. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. I've been having a lot of fun doing primetime Saturday night. I need to get back into that role of having fun with Amazonia. And the only reason I've been not having fun with Amazonia is because I have limited space here, and it's not like I could have like a actual desk anymore that I could actually just set up and draw and just keep drawing until I'm happy here. And it looks like Elaine is here. It's like she says, like, hey, no, you're never late. This show is, you never really late for the show. It's just whenever you drop in, it changes the conversation a bit here. But I'm actually talking about the topic here. You already missed new comic book pickups for the week here. It was only 3 books, and you could go back, rewatch that here. It was only about 2 minutes worth of show for the new comic book pickups of the week. But what I was talking about up to this point here, Lane, was some of the things that I was talking to John Celestri about here, and the whole idea about some of the problems that I was having with being that I caught lightning in a bottle with two different titles. And I was starting to worry about how I'm going to maintain everything as opposed to just enjoying the stories that I'm writing and just, not thinking. It's like, in a way, I'm up here more thinking about how to expand the audience as opposed to working on the story and enjoying the story and enjoying creating the story more so than anything else. It's not too much more I can do to expand the audience. Either I'm going to catch them with the story or I'm not. But the thing that he encouraged me with is like, if I'm having fun writing these stories, go ahead and have your fun. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel, that if somebody is left out or somebody doesn't completely understand that, you're doing something bad. It's like, no, enjoy the story, because sometimes, not every story is for everybody. And that was kind of like the key thing here and the key takeaway from that. And like I said, this is coming back into like the aspect of wisdom. Sometimes it will take people like myself to talk to people who've been in the industry a lot longer to get past those things that bother us or the hurdles within a career dealing with creating and writing and developing and drawing and everything to that magnitude. I mean, we went through the whole gambit about development of style, the reason why we have to go back and look at what older artists did, sticking to the traditional aspects of things here. Like, for example, traditional coloring, going back to the aspects of what it's like to really ink Bristol boards and all this other stuff and not overly rely on modern techniques. And one of the things that got brought up was, some of the writing, and we were talking about the different writing techniques, and some of the writing techniques going all the way back to like old school Eisner, shoot, I can't even think of the guy's name who did Thimble Theater, going back to like the days of Crazy Cat and the books that came out in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and really understanding how those books were created and what made them work. You can't get away from, a lot of the tradition. You could expand upon it, you can improve upon it, but you can't get away from the basics that it's format, that it formed back in those days here. And it was like a very interesting conversation, and it was more of an uplifting and encouraging conversation too, because I felt more at ease and more relaxed that I am doing something and going in the right direction with all the development and all the work that I've been putting in behind the scenes to just develop the issues and everything that I've been working on and everything. Yeah, I agree. I actually agree. And what's weird about all of this is, for those who may not know, John Celestri is, by profession, is a professional animator. And one of the things that he said, it was, and this was kind of shocking to me, some of the things that other people find overly cool about his body of work, he's up here telling me, it's like, that was early on in my career. I didn't really hit my stride until way after the Star Wars holiday special, way after Rock and Roll, way after, all the other stuff. It's like, it kind of feels like I'm hitting my stride now, because now I'm not up under I don't have somebody looking on my shoulder telling me what I can and cannot do. I'm doing the stories that I want to do, how I want to do them, and I don't have to explain why I want to do them. And I was like, and he was up here saying, this is where I supposed to be at. This is, I could feel like I'm about to get ready to put out my best work because of that. And I'm up here like, yeah, I agree. And Lane says, like, I so love Rock and Roll. Yeah. And it was just that aspect of like, yeah, I did this scene over here, or I did that scene over there. And one of the surprising facts was dealing with him was like he was only 4 years into his 4 years into working for somebody else when he did the Star Wars special for the Boba Fett. And it was shortly after that, not too long after that, the Rock and Roll and the Don Bluth Dragon Slayer and Space Ace and all the other animations that he did for Don Bluth Studios. And it was a lot of stuff that it's like when he talked about the timeline, it was amazing. Now you have to be mindful. He's up there in age, and he's at the point where it's like, I'm doing my best work now. So that tells a guy like me who's about to get ready to turn the big 5-0 here in a couple months, it's like, I still got time. I still got time to develop. I still got time to really put a good effort forward, even more so than what I've been doing here. Just like you still got time. It's not about age. It's not about age anymore. It's about the time, the effort, the manpower, the muscle. Yeah, it'll be good if we had the money though, but it is what it is. Yeah, dude has forgotten more than we have. Yeah, probably so. But he's been there, he's been quite a good resource to bounce things off of. And, I don't take that for granted. Just like how I didn't take the time that Neil Adams took with me at a couple of C2E2s. Out of nowhere, this is a legend in the field. Hi, how you doing? How are you having a good convention? This, that, and the other. End of the day, everybody walking out and we're closing down the booth, bump into it again, and have these long conversations about what is best to sell at a convention, how to really present yourself. And he's saying it's like, his best advice was the best thing that I ever heard. It's like 9 times out of 10, the work sells itself. You don't have to worry about the display and having the artwork there and this, that, and the other. That part still sells itself. What makes things sell faster is for you to have the stories behind it. You have to have those anecdotal stories, the lessons learned, the background stories of why that piece or that comic or that, whatever you're selling is important and why you're displaying it and why you're selling it. And if you have those types of stories, the rest is cake. And I thought about it. It's like, you know what? We spend a lot of our time trying to get people to be interested in what we're doing here. But yet at the same time, we don't take time to say, yeah, it's about, like, for example, it's like with Amazonia. It's like, yeah, I'm 8 issues in, but you would never guess that it started out in a sketchbook. That, the original issue number 1 was pretty much all done. The first 28 pages was done on 3 Bristol boards and the rest in a sketchbook. Those are the types of stories that sells somebody on your desire and how much you wanted to tell that story. And when he told me stuff like that, it's like, it made me feel better. Now, mind you, conventional wisdom when it comes to sales, when you ask marketing people and everything to that magnitude, not so much. But coming from a person like him, it's like, you know what? That stuff works. He made a career out of this. Maybe we should listen. And that's kind of like the thing that, the reason why I brought up this topic, because a lot of times when we have conversations, especially with those who have already been established, there could be a lot of wisdom that could be imparted, and there could be a lot of wisdom that is missed, only for the simple fact that you're not in the position to truly listen to it or really dissect it in a way that you need to dissect it to apply it. Yeah, we all have different ways that we grow, but at the same time, people just don't waste advice just to be wasting advice here. especially those who are already made it and already have established a name for themselves. And that's the kind of like the cool thing here. Yeah, I'll trust those guys over marketers any day of the week. Exactly. And for a person who have been to like San Diego Comic Con and sat in these panels where it's saying where you got, this is how you market your comic book. This is how you do this. And I'm up here, it's like, well, that doesn't necessarily fit to what I'm doing. This is what, traditional marketeers and traditional fact finders and everything go through. And I'm not saying that what they're doing doesn't work. I think it's more of a nuance that comes to it through it as well. It's not something that is just if you do A, B, and C, people are going to come and flock. No, you might get their attention, but it's never guarantee you a sell. And that's one of the things that I told a lot of other people early on when it's like back in, I would say 2015. I had people come up here ask me after I got past like my fifth and somewhere getting close to my 10th year in self-publishing. They're up here, it's like, why aren't you paying a lot of money to do the advertising and marketing? I kept telling them, it's like, it's a money trap. You could spend tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars. But those millions of dollars does not comes back to you in sales. It may get your name out there, but it does not translate to sales. That's one of the reasons why I try to get people to understand that a part of comics could be a money game, but you shouldn't play that money game. Because if you play that money game, you're going to lose. You're going to eventually lose. No matter how much money you put into that marketing aspect, if that product is not up to snuff, you're going to lose. So I'd rather make good product and take that slow burn up the charts here in the long run in that aspect here. Now, looking at that from that perspective and looking at what other people that have names for themselves and what they have done, I'm still a long way from where they're at or where they have been. Would I have loved to be in that journey that they were on? Yes. In their heyday, heck yes, I would have loved it. But they were generations before me. Would people want to be on a journey that I'm on? I would not say yay or nay on that. Some may want to have the stress and strain that I have with having a 9-to-5 job to pay for, what I do as far as getting the books together, doing the work after my 9-to-5 job, cutting some time with family and friends to make certain that I'm able to get a 6-page story done, to have it ready to go for other issues, developing, drawing and developing here, doing the research that I do, and still try to make time to, to kind of like have some type of fun, like playing some video games or having some conversation, or even go out shopping and doing other errands and stuff. Or even what I'm doing with the comic book collecting and trying to partner up with people to do more preservation type stuff and dealing more things with, collecting and history. But it's not an easy task. It's not an easy job, and it's not an easy life. I still envy, a lot of people here, like Glenn B. Fleming. He got to meet, and not just me. I mean, spend days with Jack Kirby, to sit in the man's house and see the artwork firsthand. He's the only one that I know of that has an accredited video that the Kirby estate does not own. I mean, it is just something to behold. Now, mind you, it just, it's like one of those things. It's like being in this industry is almost like being a part of history. especially if you've written a story that is worthwhile and everything. Speaking of which, that also reminds me, I need to go ahead and vote for the Eisner Awards very, very soon. So for those who have registered, don't forget to vote here. I think the voting is ending soon. Matter of fact, let me double check one thing here. That's if you guys don't mind here. Also, you guys are being kind of quiet. You know, like I said, this is an interactive show, and I want people to interject and have their thoughts and everything here. So I don't want to be like the monologue here. So let me put this out there, if I may. You know, what are some of the conversations that you had with other comic professionals that, you know, came out to be a lot of wisdom in the past year? No, I don't think, you know, it's like you think they're the only one here. And it's like, nope, monologue like the supervillain. No, I'm not going to monologue like a supervillain because I'm not going to tell people about my plans. That's the first downfall that's the first downfall of every villain. It's like, I'm going to tell you everything. Therefore you got a chance to stop what I'm trying to do. And I'm up here like, nope, not going to happen. But no, seriously though, but that's kind of like the thing that I'm, you know, that, you know, kind of like makes me always think here. It's like being around people who have done the work and understand what it takes to do the work. And that was one of the things that the other thing that came up was the whole thing about crowdfunding. And we both, you know, we're not anti crowdfunding, but we kind of like taking that back road. We're not pushing the envelope to use crowdfunding as a means to get our books out there now. John is actually, I forgot the name of the website that he's on, and he puts his work out there 1 to 2 pages a week, and people have been eating it up left and right. Me, myself, and I still got to go back out there to put a couple of issues of Primetime Saturday Night in Amazonia out there, and the same thing for Global Comics. But doing all of that takes away from the stuff that I've been working on, and worrying about revenue in that aspect takes away from it. Now, one of the things that I do worry about more so than anything else is the website itself and getting more people there for that as a whole here. Okay, that's just the announcement here. Just bear with me, guys, for another moment. I just wanted to check for the deadline here. The San Diego Comic Con website has the list of everybody who's nominated here, and there's Aaron here, and then it's like, yeah, I actually jealous of your crowdfunding skills. I never ran a successful campaign on my own. Technically, when it comes to crowdfunding, I am what, 5-3. And when I say 5-3, 5 successful ones, 3 failed ones. And crowdfunding is not easy. It's not an easy thing, especially if you fail at a campaign. It's just not as easy here. Everybody say hi to Aaron. Everybody say hi to everybody else. But it's never easy. It's never an easy task because it's at least 90 days. And that's just an estimate of 90 days that you will never get back, where you're focusing primarily nothing on marketing. So if your book isn't done and you're trying to get your book done as well as do this Kickstarter, you will be tearing your hair out. Because most of the time you're either emailing your mailing list, putting posts out there, all the social media outlets, paying for advertisements on some of the multimedia outlets and everything, doing podcasts and stuff like this. You're doing everything in the world to get people to notice, hey, I have a book. I need some assistance. Could you go ahead and buy a copy of my book, for I can guarantee that X, Y, and Z is done. And when I say X, Y, and Z, it's like when you really think of crowdfunding, if it's like a person like myself, it's more or less pre-sales. But if you're dealing with a person who have never created a book, pretty much it's a over ask to make certain that that project gets done. And when I say it's an over ask, it's more along the lines like, for example, to create a 24-page comic, on average, most people charge anywhere between $5 to $10 a book. For crowdfunding, they might charge you 25 to 30 because they have to pay the artist, they have to pay the colorist, they have to pay other people to make certain that the book gets done. So it's a over ask. And one of the things that always grinds my gears when it comes to crowdfunding is the lack of transparency as far as how much skin each creator or each person who is crowdfunding is actually putting in the game. Now, there's people like myself who, don't have a problem paying, the editor, the colorist, and all this other stuff on my own dime. And if I do go out to crowdfunding, pretty much I'm asking for printing costs. And for me to get the book printed, at a decent rate, let's just say like, anywhere between 200 to like a couple of thousand, could be anywhere between 750 to maybe like $5,000 or $6,000. But my problem with doing that each and every rip is that the ask for the rewards have to be of such where people want them. You just can't ask people for like to pay $30 for a book, for like a $5 book or a $10 book. You're going to have to make certain that it is something that they really want. And that's where I have the problem with overhead, coming up with all the different tchotchkes and all the different little bitty knickknacks and everything that's related to your project. That, again, if you get enough on print, you give them away it's like you're not even thinking about selling them at a convention. You're pretty much trying to give them away because they're going to sit up and take up room. It's overhead. You're creating extra overhead, which, again, more out-of-pocket expenses just to entice people to give you more money. I don't know, but this year, what I'm feeling more so than anything here, and I keep forgetting why I'm up here looking for, but now since I'm back here, it closed on Friday. So the Eisner voting closed on Friday. I forgot about that. Yep. So all the votes are in, so we're going to see who's doing what here. So that's pretty much what's it. But getting back to the whole thing about crowdfunding and why I gave it up for this year, it's a lot less stress. Coming out with Primetime Saturday Night number 5 and having it there on site at C2E2 was to me vindication, to show that technically, if you're putting that much skin in the game and you're going to crowdfunding, you're really going out to crowdfunding more so to increase your audience. If your audience is just not there, it's just not there. And then sometimes other people feel this way. And I don't like being a negative Nancy, but I had heard a lot of other creators say this too with crowdfunding. Crowdfunding really doesn't build a organic audience. Usually it's either creators funding other creators to be able to make certain that their books get made. And it's just weird. It's just weird in that aspect here, because when you sit back and think about it, some of it is true. It's not 100% true, but I would say out of all of the crowdfunding campaigns that are out there, I would say maybe less than 0.5% is just exactly that. It's creators backing other creators' projects for them to be able to make their book. And is that really a organic audience? Is that somebody that is truly a comic book reader that really wants to read your story, or is that really a like I said, another colleague just doing their part to make certain that they look out for you, or the whole, if you scratch my back, I scratch yours? And if that's the case, if it's the latter, who benefits from it? Because if your book is like $20 and mine is 10, sure, you'll definitely back my book if I'm backing yours at 20. But it is what it is. And she's saying, and yeah, Jolly Joe is better than negative. Yeah. And that's, as I say, it's like, I'm not saying what I'm saying to be negative, but it's just, like I said, it's less than 1% of this type of stuff is actually happening. Now, should it be happening? Yeah, it could. I mean, it's not uncommon. But the whole fact of the matter is, it's like when creators help other creators do this here, the real reason why it's supposed to happen that way is that that creator that's helping by backing is really supposed to really say, hey, it's saying, hey, my audience, the ones that buy from me, check out this book by this creator. They're a good friend. Help him get more eyes on this. It's supposed to be kind of like that whole Vidal Sassoon old commercial. No, what I forgot what that stupid shampoo is. It's like, and they told somebody, and they told somebody, and so on and so on and so on. With some people in crowdfunding, creator wise, that's what is really supposed to happen. That's the reason why people team up and collab and everything, and do kind of like a tag team or a joint campaign. It works. It helps get more people to your project, but at the same time, can it give you the most organic outcome? Now, mind you, I don't mind backing other people's Kickstarters. That's not what I'm against here. I'm not against it at all, because I do it. I have done it, and I still do it for certain projects that I actually adore. But the major thing, that reason why, like I said, I personally gave up on it for this year, is that I was not seeing organic audience growth. Those who bought for me on Kickstarter are the same people that buy from me at C2E2 or through my website. So when I remove them from the campaign information, why am I spending 30 to 90 days marketing for 3 to 4 people? It doesn't make sense. The manpower, the money doesn't justify that. Now, if I built up a bigger audience, like let's say my audience here on YouTube is bigger, and they followed over to Kickstarter and they organically joined and was backing, then it makes sense. If I'm going from 4 to maybe like 4 or 500, then it makes sense. If it's from 4 to like 4,000, it definitely makes sense. But 4 people here, 3 people there, 6 people there, the money, the time, the workload it's not justified. And that's kind of like the thing that it's kind of hard to get people to understand that, because in their mind it's like, but it's several $1,000s. I made, it's like on the campaign I made $20,000. It's like, yeah, after the books got made, the artists got paid, and all this other stuff, how much of it is profit? Maybe less than $1,000, maybe 2 at best. Is it really worth it? Now you take that $2,000 and how many organic people in that audience? And when I say organic, strip out other creators that you know, strip out friends, strip out all the people that normally will pick up your stuff at conventions, strip out all the people that normally comes to your website and buy, strip out everybody that buys from other sources, and then look at that number. For $2,000 profit, usually it would equate to somewhere between, anywhere between 60 to 100 organic people. If it's 4, then that just means that you got 4 Uber fans that just really like your work. You're really catering to them. Are you truly marketing your book the best way that you can? It's just one of those things that just makes you wonder, but it is what it is. It's not about keeping it real. It's just not putting there's a sensationalism about crowdfunding. Oh, if I put out a campaign, people will come to it and people will back it. It's like, no, it's never that simple. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a reason why a lot of people will try to go on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or Fund My Comic and all these other venues to ask for money, and they fail. It's not simple. Never been simple. Yeah, you might be able to pick up a new fan though, with a Kickstarter. And even with Kickstarter, it's like that's my whole thing. It's like even with Kickstarter, it's like when you really look at who backed and then really look at the list of who buys from you at conventions, who normally buys from you off your website, who typically buys solely through crowdfunding. And that's the number that I'm more interested in. And every campaign that I watch or back, there's only a few numbers that I always pay attention to. I never pay attention to the actual amount that is raised, because that's not going to give you the actual numbers of what it takes to make that book. The numbers that I pay more attention to is the number of backers, more so. And then if it's one of my campaigns, I pay attention to the number of backers that is unique to Kickstarter or unique to Indiegogo or unique to Fund My Comic. The reason I look at that number more so is because that's the true audience that you're looking for. If people, let's say, like let's use the chat for example. If Aaron, Elaine, and Parallax all back my campaign, if all 3 of them back my campaign here, considering the fact that Aaron bought from my website, Elaine is a fellow creator, and Parallax buy from me from other sources outside of Kickstarter. So when I look at that Kickstarter number and I see that I had, let's say, 6 backers, you 3 will be excluded from that list. So that means that my actual audience that was drawn to my project would have been 3. So you have to look at it from this standpoint. If I'm putting 90 days of nonstop marketing campaigns from post to post to post to say, hey, my campaign is going to start this day. 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 My campaign has started. We have raised this much and trying to meet this goal. We have raised this much and we have to meet this goal. We finally met our goal and now we're about to move to stretch goals. And this stretch goal is about to get ready to be reached. We just need more money and this, that, and the other. And you go through 90 days of that. And you see by the end of it, after you go through that listing and you only have 2 or 3 or 4 people who are solely buying from that platform, you have to ask yourself, do you truly have an audience there? You have to. And that's the thing that I, been questioning for the longest here. Even with all the campaigns that I have ran up to this point, the majority of the people have bought from me in other ways and other sources here. So, it might makes it easier for them to, just like, okay, now I don't have to wait to see to E2 is going to come directly to my house. Okay, I get that. But it's not unique to Kickstarter. I don't have a following on Kickstarter where I could say, yes, I have to make certain that my Kickstarter people get their books. And something like I said, all this stuff has to be curated. You have to curate an audience for Kickstarter for your campaigns to be successful in one way or another fashion here. See, it's like, yeah, I quit trying because I had friends and family who kept saying that they were going to back me and never did. At least you have folks backing you. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, it's not just having people say, hey, I'm going to back you. I'm going to back you. If they don't use that platform, they don't use that platform. It's like you're not truly beholden to that platform. But people see crowdfunding platforms as easy money. But that's the thing. And this is one of the things, and like I said, I'm going to bring back up Tyler James. For those who don't know, Comics Launch is a community that he founded. And it solely talks about crowdfunding and Kickstarter. And one of the things that he convinced me when I originally joined that community, I'm still a part of that community, but not in the same aspect as I was before. Before I was a paid member. Now I kind of like to say I'm kind of like a graduate of the overall course and everything for that here. One of the things that he said to me that convinced me to be a part of that community was this, because he made mention. It's like, well, are you being distributed? It's like, well, not through Diamond, but I made mention about Comixology. It's like, okay, think about what if Comixology went out of business. All those people who you sold books through to Comixology would not know how to reach out to you. Why? Because they're not truly a part of your audience. Even though they bought books from you on Comixology, they are Comixology's audience. For them to be a part of your audience, they have to come to you. Meaning that if you have your own website set up and people could buy stuff directly from you, that's truly part of your audience because they're following you and they're willing to buy directly from you. The same thing applies with crowdfunding. The system that he set up is independent of which crowdfunding platform that you use. You could use Kickstarter, you could use Indiegogo, you could use any platform that you want. But the one thing that stuck out to me, and I always have to be mindful of this when I think about crowdfunding campaigns, is that when we talk about audience, you still have to come back and look at those numbers and you do that self-assessment. And once you strip out all the people who buy from you from any other source normally, you get your true audience for Kickstarter. And if Kickstarter went away at that point, I'm only losing, maybe 2 to 3 people. Now, if I have them to join my mailing list, I could make them aware of what's going on and everything. They can still follow me, but there's no guarantee that they will be a part of my audience unless they are participating a lot with what I do here from the Deso Small Press Publisher, or they buying directly from me from the CGC Studios website, or they're involved in some form or some fashion, communicating to me through the newsletter or the emailing list. But there's a lot of things that happen to where you understand that to grow your audience, you have to make certain that you understand the platform that you want. Like, for example, from the Deso Small Press, another example, from the Deso Small Press Publisher, it's being right now broadcast to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Can you tell me which one of those three is have my greatest audience totals on? I bet you guys can never guess. Some of you probably could, but I bring it up because if I stop broadcasting from any one of those platforms, it does affect the overall bigger audience of who's seeing these videos and everything here. And they say, oh, I forgot. Aaron says, like, yeah, I get you're picking and choosing your battles. And that's the thing. It's not even really picking and choosing the battles. It's more along the lines like, I'm not forgetting those 3 people over there. I'm not forgetting those 4 people over there. What I'm doing here is on the email list that they're on, I'm saying, I'm foregoing this. If you want the next issue, come over here. Or you might have to wait up to a year or more before I come back to this platform. And even then, you could still buy it and, buy a catch up tier or something to that magnitude to get the missing issues if I don't crowdfund for it. So that's the type of thing that I'm saying here. It's not really a pick your battle. It's more along the lines like taking that step back to see, am I capable of truly growing that audience the way that I need to grow that audience over there for that platform to make it work? Just like with here on YouTube, just because you made a video doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to come out there and watch it. Are you doing the things behind the scenes to have people come out here to watch? Are you telling people, hey, I got a podcast every Saturday night at 9 p.m.? Are you aware that I come out here to talk about comics? Are you aware that I'm giving people behind the scene access to what we do here at CGC Studios? Do you know I also do tutorials and talk about this and talk about that and talk about that? All of that goes into building an audience for the platform that you're on. So that makes it a little bit palatable for when you do what you do here. Beanie, I just said B just said 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Joe, what about the meta ads? Do a little trailer, and meta ads are not free. Yes, I have paid for meta ads. They are not free. Trailers take time to make. So that's why I say it's all that stuff takes time and man hours. And when you look at man hours in terms of actual cost, let's just say if I wasn't doing it myself and I paid somebody else to do this stuff and you quantify it to a cost, is it really worth it? Like I said, having 3 to 4 people on one platform that only buys from you there, is it justifying the cost for a lot of stuff that you have to go through to get their attention? It is what it is. Does Beanie then say open up the wow? Joe would get the joke. Yeah, no, that's why I said wow. Yep. It's a callback for Beanie. Okay. Surprisingly enough, it's not Facebook. Facebook is number 2. Facebook is number 2. Actually, the number one source for watching the videos and stuff that I put out, the podcast, is still YouTube. Only because of watch hours. Even though I'm broadcasting directly to the CGC Studio page on Facebook, that's the reason why it's number 2. There are people that watch videos on Facebook, especially if it's dealing with companies. So that's the reason why it's number 2 on that list here. Now, the problem with Facebook here is that Yeah, the people who are watching it on Facebook, they could comment directly to me just like you guys do on YouTube. Same thing with people on Twitch. But the people on Facebook watch more so after the fact. While you guys right now, that's in my chat, you're watching it as it happens. And those numbers do play a bigger role. And trust me, and trust me on this aspect here, the watch hours on YouTube does edge out just slightly to the Facebook ones. Now, if I didn't have that mishap with the channel from earlier, I would have had all my old stuff here. But at least Facebook had the majority of my older videos there. I have to go back and hurry up and download those videos real quick before I can have them archived. And eventually I might put them back up on YouTube. But it is kind of weird. It is kind of weird and everything because for those who don't remember, Jake was here not a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the time that we did Kickheart, did the video review of Kickheart. That's still out there on Facebook, and I was able to download that video. I could put it back out here to YouTube right now for people to reacquaint themselves. Now we're up here talking about if we do it again, we're probably going to do the 6-episode Golden Boy series because there's a lot of nuance in that Golden Boy series that needed to be talked about as far as how it was developed, the story, how way the story went, and everything, and how everything came together. But like I said, that's talking about more about the production and understanding how the story works. And having a little bit of enjoyment. I think people would get a kick out of that watch party like we did with Kickheart. But that's something that would come down later down the pike here. And like I said, all this comes back down to what I was saying earlier, wisdom. It's not about just learning something, it's about understanding how to apply it. And I think that's one of the reasons why people don't act with wisdom. Because it takes how can I put this? It takes facts to build knowledge. It takes not it takes knowledge. It takes knowledge in order to apply it to daily living. But once it's applied, it slowly becomes wisdom, and it slowly becomes wisdom because now you understand the ins and outs to the point where you can make the best of it through any given situation here. And a lot of things just don't go to wisdom at that point. Just like the whole thing about the topic about audience. Everybody thinks, audiences are a lot broader than what they think. It's like, no, it's a lot narrower than what is really happening here. Yeah, it's like everybody who watched these videos is a part of the viewing audience. But when I take a look at YouTube, I have to strip out everybody that only looks at everything through Facebook. I have to strip out everybody that looks at everything through Twitch. It only focus in on the YouTube people. Same thing with Twitch. Now, for those who don't know why I'm on Twitch, it's because, I wouldn't say back in the day. It's not really back in the day. Maybe early 2000s and stuff here. I was still doing, heavy into video gaming and everything. I was streaming video game stuff. I would do it every so often. Parallax knows that I might do it for like New Year's Eve. That's kind of like the New Year's Eve thing here. Come out here, stream video games from the laptop, play them, and we just enjoy New Year's together. But I used to do that through Twitch. And since I already had the Twitch account, I converted the Twitch account to being half video games and half comics. Now, the comic stuff, it doesn't get watched all that much, but if I stream like Virtual Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, and a couple other games, it gets watched. And surprisingly enough, I do have a YouTube channel that's devoted to gaming. Guess which side has the more subscriptions? It's not the comic book side. But saying all that to say, it's understanding the bigger, broader picture of audience. Now, do the people who watch me game know about the comic book side? Yes, because why? I accidentally streamed like Comic Book Spectrum over there a couple of times. They do know that I do the show. It's like I tell people while I'm streaming over there that I do the Saturday show and everything. Every so often, they might pop up and watch for a couple of minutes and add to the numbers. But it is what it is here. Mommy got mad at Unky Joe for a whole year. Oh, she did re-up that contract. And it's like, Aaron, the 1, 2, 3, 4 joke is beating one time. Said, yeah, free is a price. Yeah. And then it's counted 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, our fake argument. Our fake argument about it's like free 99 is not the same as free. And we was doing that on the pirate show, the pirate claim show here. And we had a fake argument about how free was not doing X, Y, and Z. Oh yeah, did you get the email from YouTube saying that the consolidated videos put out by music? Yes, I did get that here. But then again, I also used the free music that they have through YouTube, the YouTube Studios, so I don't get copyright strikes, minus the ones that I actually paid for licensing for. Yeah, I actually paid for licensing for what? Well, I got the license for 2 different songs that I paid for, and one from one of our advertisers for Comic Book Spectrum. Yep. Yeah, anything free. Yep. Anything free. It's like free is not a number in that aspect. Yes, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the response. Yeah, that's how that argument went. It's like free in this case. It's not the same as free 99. And if we did go free 99, free is not a number. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. The Here Comes B. Yeah, it is. Free is a number. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how she settled that argument. Yeah, I actually used their free music. I probably should look for new music. Yeah, and they always put up new music and everything. And even for like the trailers that I do for the comic books, like for example, and please indulge me for this one here. Like this is definitely one that where I use the free YouTube music for.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the.
And that's with one of the ones from YouTube Studios. So that's one of the free songs that I got from YouTube Studios, where I did the Primetime Saturday Night trailer from. So that's the reason why I know for a fact that it works that way. Yeah, I told Matthew McKell that clear is a color. Yes, clear is a color. No, it's not. Then why do they have it on paint cans and everything? There is a such thing as a clear color when it comes to opaquency of paint or pigmentation of paint. There is a such thing as clear. No, it's not. It's like he said, it's impossible. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why can't I go buy a can of clear spray paint? Ergo, that's a color. Yep. Nice. Yeah, I see my mowing my front yard. Why are they mowing the yard at 11 o'clock at night? Oh, she's singing a song. Duh. Duh. I'm up here like, there's no notes about it. It's like, I wouldn't have known that it was a song until she got to the third line. I feel stupid. I feel stupid. And for those who don't know, that was a Weird Al Yankovic song, by the way, White and Nerdy. Yeah, we went through that. Yep. Yeah, because Parallax has a knack of being able to pick out how a beat of a song matches up to something that's more popular. And that is there. But then again, White and Nerdy was a parody of Writing Dirty. So if anything, she should be quoting Writing Dirty than White and Nerdy. And now she's saying, yep. Okay, now it's like, now that you made me think about it. And again, that's why I like Frankie Fade's Instagram account where it talks about how all of these younger generations think that their songs are original, and the older folks would sit there, they would listen to the beat, and it's like, oh, they sampled that from this song, and they sampled that from that song. Just like Gangsta's Paradise. I forgot what Gangster Paradise was a sample. Oh, Gangster Paradise was a sample to Pastime Paradise from Stevie Wonder. Hashtag know your music history. That's what I just said. I just said it. I just said it. I said it before before the answer got there. Therefore, if you was on a game show like Woo, you would have lost. You would have lost. You would have lost in the gauntlet of villains. You would have lost in the gauntlet of villains. I didn't say you didn't say it. No, but you still would have lost in the gauntlet of villains because you have to beat the so-called villain to the answer before, and you only had, I think you only had 2 second interval to give the answer, or else the villain beats you. Flip over the pro fuck this that's funny. But that's funny, nevertheless here. But that's the nature of the beast here. The nature of everything here. Like I'm saying, is understanding and using the conversations, the knowledge that you gain to bring some type of wisdom to the table, and it'll help you. It will help you through this mess that we call the comic book industry nowadays. Here, yeah, I'm heading off to bed. Oh, okay. I did not know that was happening tomorrow. I don't know. But then again, I don't really get out the house all that much here, Lane. So have fun doing that on tomorrow here. Everybody is saying good night to Elaine. And I'm thinking about ending things up early unless you guys got something new to talk about here, because I think I said everything I wanted to say here. Outside of, almost finished with another chapter to one of the anthology stories. So I already mentioned that I'm working on issue 3 of the anthology book. So when I decide to release issue 1, don't fret, don't worry, because most likely I probably have 3 or 4 issues already done and ready to release if issue number 1 is successful. So that's the cool thing here. Always have the foresight to be ready if something does take off, and never just wait and never just wait to have. Oh, again, I'm not ending the show at this moment unless you guys don't have anything else you guys want to say. Because, like Eric, you got a upcoming claim sale coming up on Monday. You should be telling people about your claim sale. And then Parallax got people all over the place that could be like, hey, go over here and buy these people stuff. Or I'm giving such and such this type of stuff, go buy it from them. You know. I mean, like I said, this is a totally interactive show. It's not about me spouting off at the mouth and talking all off the side of my neck just to try to get subscribers and everything. This is more along the lines of the I don't even want to say collectors show, the collectors shows of shows or anything to that magnitude. This is just something that is just real and down to earth. Vote for me. I don't know what I'm running for, but vote for me anyway. Yeah, I forgot to make a link. Oh no. Irregardless what I'm running for is the same difference. Okay, go ahead and make your link. We're not running away anytime real quick anyway. I'm still waiting for some more books from CGC. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for some good grades on my Wonder Woman 205 and 206 and the, what was it? Dang it. Lois Lane 106. I'm still waiting to see what those are. Well, you know, matter of fact, let me double check one thing here. Since I got these, since I have it on the mind here, did they come out of the pressing? Okay, yes, the pressing that a certain Parallax says that they suck. Nope, they're still in transition here. Beanie said, just pull a Lilo. She said, can I have $2? Sorry, Parallax. The first thing that came to my mind is the boy, the boy that was not the newspaper, but the subscription, the magazine subscription boy. I want my $2 for Better Off Dead. I just see B coming up with the switchblade comb and everything. Give me $2. I want $2. Can I have $2? Wait, is oh, don't start that. That's the reason why you have to say irregardless, like New York City. That really chaps my heart. Yeah, you done messed up. You know, better off having, he was like, you'd be better off having me to sit on the books for an evening. They'll be I want my $2. Yes. People keep forgetting about that John Cusack cult classic of a movie, Better Off Dead. Oh man, the two Asian brothers. One was a drag racer, the other one could only talk like Howard Cosell. And that movie was so much of a trip. But you know, that's classic American cinema. That's classic American cinema here. And you know, we are getting kind of off the topic of comics here, but I'm waiting for Aaron to have the link here for people who know about his upcoming claim sale on Monday. Are you having special guests on this Monday show, or is this going to be just a solo AA Ron type show? And while we wait for the answer for that here, she said, Parallax said, I have a Captain America on Blu-ray coming soon here. And she's happy about that. And, oh, dang it, I forgot what number it was. I have a Wonder Woman Pizza Hut reprint. I believe it was well, actually, I know it when I see it. Hold on. And I just bought it. I just bought it today off of Whatnot too. I shouldn't have, because I got other people to kind of pay for comics already. Speaking of comics, we're getting closer and closer to having these. I keep saying these. We're getting closer and closer to having the books that I got in stores organized, where I could be a little bit happier and know exactly what I got here. Yeah, Wonder Woman 62, the Pizza Hut reprint. So I got one of those coming in the mail soon. And there it is. There it is. That's this Monday claim sales for this Monday. So this upcoming Monday, AA Ron has his Monday claim sales. You know, if you haven't sub up Psychotronic Squirt Gun, this is the perfect opportunity to, or you can just follow that link and it'll take you right there. And yeah, Cicada Sonic is going to be on as the special guest here. Cool. So so Cicada Sonic is going to be selling along with Aaron on that show. Oh, books. Yeah. So I got that coming, and another Challengers of the Unknown coming. And this is in addition to all the other stuff from Hip Comics, from auction stuff that I've been getting for like 79 cents and up, and then I still got to pay some other people as well. Matter of fact, let me double check something here, because I haven't been keeping up with a lot of other stuff here. I hope you guys don't mind that I am checking things in the background. I do have to keep some things secret. But outside of that here, what else, you know, if you guys got anything else that you want to mention here? Let me see what else. Oh, okay. So I got to pay for a Lady Mechanica free comic book day for 2017. I'm about to say 2077. That's not good. I must be getting tired. So I got a Lady Mechanica free comic book day for 2017. Spider-Woman 17 for 1979. So I'm getting closer to finishing that off. Lois Lane 123 and 137. And another $14 to pay for a Birds of Prey. So I got a Birds of Prey 7, which is one that was missing. Doom Patrol, Weight of Worlds 1 and 3, and Wonder Woman, Our Worlds at War 2001. And surprisingly enough, I got that Wonder Woman, Our Worlds at War for 79 cents. And then I just got through paying for my missing Red Sonja books, Red Sonja 8, 9, 10, and 11 from 1978. Now, the one book that I was so mad that bid it up was Spider-Woman 25 from 1980. Spent too much money on it. But it is what it is here. Yeah, I've been organizing comics more than reading them. I have no other choice. I had no other choice because I need to get them organized because, like I said, once I finish certain collections, my selection of new books that I buy has been chopped. I have chopped off a lot of stuff here. I want to buy more stuff, but because all of these books now have multiple covers and moving more into that preservationist type museum type art, it's not always good just to have the A cover. It just been becoming more and more costly here. Yeah. And the way my brain works is that when something is in front of me, I just do it. Yeah. Sometimes it's just that way. My response to that would be Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's a trap. That's not an easy task. Just like organizing my stuff in storage is not an easy task, but we finally got all of the older Wonder Woman in new bags and boards. We're finally getting a lot of the older X-Men in new bags and boards, and it's just a long, tedious thing here. Do it until it's done. Yep. But sometimes it's time management issues. But right now, I haven't been reading comics and feel it. I have been reading, but not like reading. I think the last thing that I read was like something that I took to storage today. I believe it was like the Hardball series, which I didn't like here. It just seems for some reason, adult books that just don't seem adult anymore. TNA books are TNA books are just TNA books. Yeah, I generally read older comics too, but I feel like I'm actually reading something. Yeah. I've been loving the Marvel 2-in-1 Bronzy Goodness actual storylines. Well, as far as the older stuff that I've been reading as of late, I've been enjoying stuff like Challengers of the Unknown again. I reacclimated myself to Challengers of the Unknown. I've been also picking up things like The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. and a lot of slowly been getting to like some of the Del Key TV shows here. And I'm still looking for things like Night Nurse and stuff to that magnitude here. But that's a whole nother story within itself. Yeah, I'm done organizing. We'll talk hot. Poor Aaron, he doesn't realize it's a trap. I'm going to have to mail Beatty to Pirate. I can see Bean now. It's like, Mama, don't put that priority step on my forehead. I'm doing it though. I won't stop until it gets done. Yeah, like I said, it's like it's like, okay, I'm about to organize these comics, and then just like in a SpongeBob transition, 40 years later. The last book we finally got organized, and here comes Parallax. Oh, you forgot these 20 boxes over here. It's a trap. 2-in-1s are fun. I just got through verifying that I finally completed the Thing run, the 1980s Thing run, the volume 1. That is so cool. And then I'm close to having all of volume 1 of Birds of Prey. and with some of the other stuff that's coming in, it's eventually going to get there. Read Tarot 64, the story called The Last Murray, a very, very good story. Bronze superhero stuff. I read oh yeah, the original Plastic Man stuff. I still don't have those older police comics here. Oh, I also picked up a couple of Jughead books today too. But I gotta pay the pirate, I gotta pay Curly Q, I got to pay, I think I gotta pay whenever they decide to send me another invoice. The Brotherhood people, Olivia Mills, him, like Olivia Mills, Henry to Kentucky. Yeah, put the priority mail stamp on her forehead. Mills. It seems like a travel labyrinth in a way, but I'm doing it. The only person that it would not be a trap for it would be Beanie. Why? Because Beanie would look at a book and be like, "I like this," and then she goes put it in her box. 217 years later. 217 years later. Like boop. I like Birds of Prey. Nice. I remember the theme run when I was a kid. Yep. DC's finest. I don't know. Yeah. Again, it's like I know all these people that, especially Archie dealers, and I keep asking them. It's like, why are you always showing Archie stuff? It's like, what about Jughead? What about Josie? It's like, oh, we got that stuff too. It's just nobody asked about it. So it's just weird. And then, oh no, what link is she sending now? I'll check that out later here. I have to watch it later because it's not on here. It's not coming up as an active link here. And I'm trying to see if I could, and it won't allow me to copy the link. So that's the other thing. I have to go into it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. And the bad thing about it is that you would do it too. You would stick that label on that forehead and be like, "Yep, she's gone." But saying all that to say, it's pretty much, it is what it is for right now. So behind the scenes, what I'm doing now is paying for the outstanding stuff auction wise that I bid on through Hip Comics. I think I've been doing okay with auctions, especially with the 79 cents, the 99-cent auctions on these platforms. Because I'm picking up books for anywhere between 79 cents and $5. But outside of that, it's just, I just don't like, my only gripe about waiting for graded books is just the long wait times. Having the money just to sit for long periods of times. Yeah. The dogs do talk. Yes, they do talk. Not just the dogs, the cats. There's a couple of cats that's there too. It's hilarious. I still think about how they broke into the water line. Did you see that video yet about how Hammy dug and dug and dug, and then they got to whatever water line that was underground, and they bit into it and broke it. That video was actually funny because that actually happened to in real life, and they was up there like, we should have known. It would take a Hammy to do something like that. Yep. Hamilton the Corgi, aka Hammy. It's my recipe. Olivia was the older sister. Yeah. Olivia, the older sister, was the first celebrity death she dealt with. BK, it's my recipe. Him and the new vacuum cleaner. And he gets his new armor upgrade. But anyway, people, it is about that time to call it a night here. I do want to get to the point where I letter these 5 pages today here, and that kind of frees up my Sunday. My all-time favorite is Working Dog Hammy with the construction. No, my favorite one is him dressed up in the construction suit, but he brings the street light in the house, and it was like, where did you get that traffic light from? And then all of a sudden you hear all the cars crashing in the background. Like, no. Well, we're going to bring it to the end off of that note here. So, as always, wait, hold on. We got more people saying good night and getting, everybody's laughing at everything. So, as we always say here, Aaron, go watch some Hammy and Olivia. It's Bee's all-time fave. Yes, it is. It is her all-time fave. It is her all-time fave here. Night all, and we will be on Facebook. Okay. So, as I always say, live life, grow, and be well. I'll be back next Saturday. Don't know what we're going to talk about. I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants for right now because I've been working on comics and everything. Some of the stuff I just can't show because it is adult content. But eventually I'll probably get back to doing Amazonia pages once I decide to move this stuff out the way again, off the table. And that way I could put my Bristol. Well, actually, I really need to get more drafting tape before I could actually start back to doing Amazonia. So again, always supplies. The problem with being an artist, always not keeping up with supplies here, but that will get taken care of soon. Until next week, live life, grow, and be well. And we are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And yes, I do mean Saturday because my East Coast folks has another 30 minutes, or I should say another 26 minutes of Saturday before it becomes Sunday. So have at it. Until then, bye.